I believe the Cleveland Browns will go 13-4 this year. They will win the AFC North. And it feels crazy to say that, but I do believe this. Best case scenario for the Cleveland Browns this year is they win a Super Bowl. And I've waited my whole life to be able to say that, not because I'm a Browns fan, because my whole life the Browns have been like the little engine that could. This terrible, horrible franchise that every year I just take pity on. I'm like, man, wouldn't it be nice if the Browns were good? They actually are good this year. That's crazy. This is the best roster maybe in the entire NFL. This is a loaded team filled with all kinds of really good football players. In fact, there's a stigma to being part of the Cleveland Browns. Like, being the Cleveland Browns means that people are uncomfortable making them a Super Bowl favorite. And if Seattle or Dallas had this collection of football players, they'd be given more credit, like straight up. People would call them a Super Bowl favorite. So the Browns general manager Andrew Berry is a guy who I think deserves a ton of credit. He added safety John Johnson to this football team. He added corner Troy Hill. He added 2 defensive ends, Jadeveon Clowney, who's a starter, and then former first-round pick, now a backup Takk McKinley. They added defensive tackle Malik Jackson. They drafted a new starting corner, Greg Newsome II. They're also getting, they didn't add this player really, but they're getting star receiver Odell Beckham Jr. back from an injury last year. I want to break down this defense because it is crazy deep how good this Browns defense is. In the secondary, they have 2 starting corners, Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome II, a rookie. Behind them, they have Troy Hill and Greedy Williams. Then it's safety. You have John Johnson and Ronnie Harrison Jr., plus the backup safety, Grant Delpit, is a really solid backup who can come in and give them some depth. And if guys get hurt, like, it's crazy how much depth this team has. If Denzel Ward gets hurt, they're okay. They have Troy Hill and Greedy Williams. If a safety gets hurt, they have Grant Delpit. Like, the fact that the Browns are able to survive injuries is really, really going to help them throughout this year. On the defensive line, you have 2 former number 1 overall picks, which is ridiculous. I'm not a huge Jadeveon Clowney fan. Once a good friend of mine, Brett Coleman, said that Jadeveon Clowney is a guy who, and he told me this on my podcast, he said Jadeveon Clowney is a guy who is more like Robin. He's better when he's not the number 1 guy expected to bring in all the production. The good news is you're pairing Jadeveon Clowney with Myles Garrett, another former number 1 overall pick who is dominant, and they're going to play off each other, help each other a lot. Malik Jackson is inside a defensive tackle. That also helps. Like, it is hard to block a defensive end when they have help on the interior and help on the offensive, on the other side of the defensive line. So they're going to get a lot of pressure after quarterbacks. Not to mention backup defensive end Takk McKinley. He's a guy who's had a bad NFL career. Takk McKinley has been a big disappointment, a former first-round pick in Atlanta, I believe at UCLA, who just never, ever became the starter they wanted him to be. But he is talented. He's a guy who's played a lot of games. He's a backup now. And I look, if Jadeveon Clowney gets hurt, I think Takk McKinley can come in, be a solid starter, and he might actually be helped out and benefit from playing alongside Myles Garrett. Anyone would on the defensive line. So I feel really good about this defensive front for the Cleveland Browns. Now, on offense, the offensive line is stacked. You have left tackle Jedrick Wills, right tackle Jack Conklin, guards Joel Benantonio and Wyatt Teller. You have center J.C. Treader. The receiving core, Odell Beckham Jr. is a star. Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones. At tight end, you have 3 tight ends, which is ridiculously gluttonous. The Browns do not need more than 1 tight end, let alone 3. They have Austin Hooper, who's a stud. David Njoku. They have Harrison Bryant, a guy out of Florida Atlantic, was a rookie last year, did really, really well. The Browns have 3 running backs I like. They have Nick Chubb, the guy who he's a star. He got a massive contract. Kareem Hunt is a big playmaker. And then the Browns have this underrated playmaking running back, rookie Demetric Felton, a guy out of LSU. Fantastic receiver out of the backfield. He is so good at catching passes and making people miss and doing stuff in open field. He can also return kicks. Demetric Felton is a guy who nobody knows who he is. Nobody paid attention to that move, but that's a good move the Browns made, adding him. I want to be clear on this. I think people don't understand what I talk about. I think Baker Mayfield is fantastic. And I think Baker Mayfield's underappreciated by most people in the football world. People don't understand the dysfunction that Baker Mayfield had to overcome and deal with early on in his career. Freddie Kitchens, Hugh Jackson, terrible offenses, all kinds of new systems and new head coaches. So for him to overcome all that dysfunction, finally get a good coach and a good roster around it. Baker Mayfield, I believe in. I think he's great, and I think deserves a little more respect than people around the league give him. I mean, Baker didn't carry the Browns to a playoff victory last year, but he's the first Browns quarterback to win a playoff game in since Bernie Kosar probably was the last one to do it. So let's give Baker a little more credit and a little more respect that I believe he deserves. This Browns roster is a crazy mix of both, not even both, all three, talent, youth, and depth. They're young, they're really good players, and if people get hurt, they're okay. I mean, even they have a backup quarterback for Baker Mayfield. Case Keenum can come off the bench and win a couple games if they need that. So people are afraid to say it, but this Cleveland Browns team is capable of winning a Super Bowl. They should be a Super Bowl favorite, in my opinion. Again, like I said, if this team was in Dallas or Seattle, no one would think twice before saying they are a Super Bowl favorite. Because of the stigma of Cleveland, people are afraid to say it. Think about this, too. The Browns had their first ever offseason under their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Remember, they had no training camp last year. They kind of just were thrown into the Wolves week one, learning the offense on the fly. This year, they had a whole offense to marinate on the system, to learn it, rep it in training camp. I think the Browns are going to start way better week one. They play Kansas City, and I am very, very excited to watch the Cleveland Browns this year. My only one question about this football team, maybe the weak link on this team, is their kicker, Chase McLaughlin. This is his 7th team in 3 years in the NFL. He's a guy who's bounced around a ton. He's fine when you look at his numbers. I hope that he does not become... I hope he just has a solid year. Nobody knows his name. He's not noteworthy at all. My fear is because he's not a guy I know and it's not reliable, I hope he doesn't miss a game-winning kick in an important moment late in the year. And that's something that I say that now, and unfortunately, my fear is that's going to stick in people's heads all year. And if that happens in the AFC title game, we're going to go, man, the only weakness on this football team was they didn't have a kicker like Matt Prater or somebody really, really good that they knew they could trust in a key moment at the end of a game. By the way, this is a really interesting sequence the Browns have on their schedule. Week 12, they play at the Baltimore Ravens. Then week 13, Cleveland has a bye week. Then week 14, they play the Ravens again. It's very rare to be in a situation where often when a team plays another team twice in 3 weeks, they split the series. I think later in the year, the NFC East for sure does this. Someone is playing somebody. If the Eagles play the Giants and then have it play another team, then the next week they play the Eagles and Giants again. They usually one team wins one game, one team wins the other because you know each other so well. It's so recent, and inches in the NFL is so close. It's rare for a team to play another one and beat them twice in 3 weeks. I think this could happen for the Cleveland Browns because while the Browns have the week off, week 13, the Ravens are playing Pittsburgh in between, which means they're going to be occupied, busy with a really good football team. So the Browns, I believe, could beat Baltimore twice in a 3-week span, week 12 and then week 14. It's rare, but the bye week makes it very, very, very interesting. I love the Browns this year. They will go 13-4, and in my opinion, are a team that should be a Super Bowl favorite.